Perhaps one of the most beloved topics of the entertainment industry is various kinds of diseases, mental and physical ailments. Each of these projects tries to create an original, memorable world filled with the consequences of a raging disease. How do game designers combine this theme with different settings? Let's compare and discuss this with the help of 3 different games in the universe that the pandemic is devastating. Plague is the Black Death, the scourge of the 14th century and one of the most terrible diseases in the history of mankind. The pandemic occurred in 1346 to 1353 and, according to various sources, claimed from 30 to 60% of the population of Europe. Depending on the type, the disease caused death within hours or days. It is for the period of the Black Pestilence in France that Asobo Studio offers us a look. Rats, being the main carriers of the disease, became a key feature of the project. Huge flocks of black creatures are devastating the battlefields of the 100 Years' War, Paris and its environs. The only salvation from the monsters is the light, which is used by both the population and the main characters of the story, Amika and Hugo de Rune. The Roman Catholic Church also plays a key role in the story. Asobo Studio conveys the spirit of religion using one of the most striking images of the Catholic Church, the Inquisition. The Holy Inquisition did not try to find a cure or reduce mortality in any way, the main goal being to find those responsible for the epidemic of sorcerers, poisoners and sinners, which leads to rather deplorable consequences. Whether it was possible to create a dark, oppressive atmosphere of hopelessness from fear of an invisible threat, definitely yes. Whether the ongoing processes correspond to reality is more than for a work of art. The game is as close as possible to our realities, and in particular to our time period. The game series takes place in the 21st century around 2022. The main problem that caused destruction not only in cities, but also in society is cordyceps cerebral infection. The fungus, whose spores cause irreversible mutations in the body of the host, is spreading throughout the United States, as a result of which the largest gathering places of people were subjected to rocket attacks in the hope of reducing the number of infected people. The fungus infects the nervous system, forming mycelium in the cerebral cortex. This erases a person's memory and plunges him into madness. The behavior of the infected is primitive, the main instincts are only the spread of spores and feeding. Eventually the fungus will kill the host and begin to grow out of the host's body, forming fruiting bodies for the mass dispersal of spores. The infected adapt to environmental conditions. As the fungus grows, it coats the conjunctiva, blinding the host. The body then develops a primitive form of echolocation to detect prey, which explains the clicking of click beetles. If the host's body is severely damaged, the fungus will kill it in a dark and damp place, and have several stages: runners, stalkers, clickers, drowners and shufflers. The infection enters the body through spores or the bite of a sick person. The main basis for creating the disease is the real ergot fungus or Diceps unilateralis, which parasitizes insects. To combat the pandemic, the government begins mass eradication of the infected, and later creates quarantine zones and checkpoints throughout the country. At the beginning of the pandemic, scientists made attempts to create a vaccine, but for lack of progress, the projects were closed, and this idea was supported exclusively by enthusiasts from the Cicada organization. Each game is a separate work with its own advantages and disadvantages. History, atmosphere and various gameplay features were created for all worlds. In this video we tried to combine various facts about diseases, but the conclusions, as well as their comparison, are yours. We invite you to watch our next videos and thank you for subscribing to the RTV Gaming channel so as not to miss new videos.